Every doctor on this platform is telling you to eat more protein to build muscle after 60. More chicken, more eggs, more whey shakes. And they are not wrong. Protein matters. But not a single one of them is telling you about the 10 fruits that make that protein actually work. Because here is what nobody is saying out loud. You can eat 200 grams of protein a day and still lose muscle after 60 if the machinery inside your muscle cells that turns protein into muscle tissue is broken. And in most people over 60, it is broken. The inflammation is too high. The mitochondria are too damaged. The growth signals are too weak. The blood flow is too poor. Fruits fix all of that, not through protein, through compounds that no animal food contains, compounds that unlock the muscle-building pathways that protein alone cannot open. My name is Dr. Thomas. I am counting down the 10 most powerful muscle-building fruits on the planet, and I promise you this, by the time you reach number 1, you will know more about how fruit builds muscle than 99% of doctors, trainers, and nutritionists out there. Most of them have never even heard of the mechanisms I'm about to explain. We are starting at number 10 and working our way up. Each fruit is more powerful than the last. Let us go. Number 10, watermelon. We start with a fruit that most people think of as nothing but water and sugar. They are wrong. Watermelon is a serious muscle-building tool, and the reason is an amino acid called citrulline. Watermelon is the richest natural food source of L-citrulline. When you eat watermelon, the citrulline is absorbed into your bloodstream and converted by your kidneys into L-arginine, which is then used to produce nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a gas molecule that relaxes and widens your blood vessels. Wider blood vessels mean more blood flow. More blood flow to your muscles means more oxygen delivery, more nutrient delivery, and more efficient removal of the waste products that build up during and after exercise. But here is why this matters specifically for muscle building after 60. As you age, your blood vessels stiffen. The endothelial cells that line them produce less nitric oxide. Blood flow to your muscles decreases, and the amino acids from your meals are delivered more slowly and in smaller quantities to the muscle fibers that need them. A study published in the British Journal of Nutrition found that watermelon juice supplementation significantly reduced muscle soreness and improved recovery time after exercise. The citrulline from watermelon increased blood flow to the working muscles, improved the delivery of amino acids for repair, and accelerated the removal of ammonia and lactate that cause fatigue. Watermelon also contains a significant amount of lycopene, the red pigment that is a potent antioxidant. Lycopene reduces the oxidative stress that damages muscle cell mitochondria, supporting the energy production that muscles need for both contraction and repair. 2 cups of fresh watermelon provide approximately 250 milligrams of citrulline. Eat it before or after physical activity for maximum benefit. The rind contains even higher concentrations of citrulline than the flesh, so if you can blend it into a smoothie, you will get a substantially larger dose. There is a second mechanism of citrulline that is directly relevant to muscle protein synthesis. When your body breaks down amino acids for energy during exercise, one of the toxic byproducts is ammonia. Ammonia accumulates in the blood during physical activity and contributes to muscle fatigue. But ammonia also directly inhibits muscle protein synthesis through interference with the mechanistic target of rapamycin pathway. High ammonia levels literally suppress the growth signal. Citrulline is a key intermediate in the urea cycle, the biochemical pathway that converts toxic ammonia into harmless urea for excretion by the kidneys. By providing additional citrulline, watermelon accelerates ammonia clearance, reducing the inhibitory effect of ammonia on the muscle-building pathway and allowing protein synthesis to resume at full capacity sooner after exercise. A study published in the European Journal of Nutrition found that citrulline supplementation from watermelon juice increased the rate of muscle protein synthesis following exercise compared to a placebo. The researchers attributed the improvement to both enhanced blood flow and accelerated ammonia detoxification. Watermelon also provides a meaningful amount of vitamin B6, which is a cofactor for the transaminase enzymes involved in amino acid metabolism. Better amino acid metabolism means more efficient use of the protein you eat for muscle building rather than energy production. Number 9, tart cherries. Tart cherries land at number 9 because they are the most powerful natural anti-inflammatory fruit ever studied for muscle health, and chronic inflammation is one of the primary reasons your muscles are shrinking. After 60, your body runs a low-grade inflammatory fire that never goes out. Inflammatory molecules like interleukin-6 and tumor necrosis factor alpha are constantly elevated. These molecules do 2 devastating things to your muscles. First, they block the growth signals that tell your muscle cells to absorb amino acids and build new protein. Second, they activate a demolition pathway that actively breaks down existing muscle protein. You are losing muscle not just because you are building less. You are losing muscle because your body is tearing it down from the inside. Tart cherry anthocyanins, specifically cyanidin compounds, suppress both of these inflammatory pathways. They inhibit the nuclear factor kappa B signaling cascade that drives inflammatory molecule production, and they reduce the activity of the cyclooxygenase enzymes that generate inflammatory prostaglandins. A study published in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition found that tart cherry supplementation reduced muscle damage markers by up to 50% after intense exercise. Creatine kinase levels, which directly measure muscle fiber breakdown, were substantially lower in the tart cherry group compared to placebo. But the benefit for people over 60 goes beyond exercise recovery. The chronic suppression of baseline inflammation allows the muscle-building pathway called the mechanistic target of rapamycin to become more sensitive to leucine, the amino acid that triggers muscle protein synthesis, by lowering the inflammatory noise. Tart cherries let the growth signal get through. 1 tablespoon of tart cherry juice concentrate daily, or 1 cup of frozen tart cherries provides a clinically relevant dose of anthocyanins. There's another dimension of tart cherries and muscle preservation that involves the direct suppression of muscle breakdown genes. Your muscle cells contain a signaling pathway controlled by a group of proteins called the forkhead box O family. When this pathway is activated by inflammatory signals, it switches on genes called atrogin 1 that produce the enzymes responsible for dismantling muscle protein through the ubiquitin proteasome system. Think of the forkhead box O pathway as a demolition order. When inflammation is high, the order goes out, and the demolition crew starts tearing down muscle protein at an accelerated rate. Tart cherry anthocyanins suppress the inflammatory signals that issue this demolition order, keeping the forkhead box O pathway quieter and reducing the rate at which your existing muscle is being broken down. This dual action, improving the sensitivity of the growth pathway while simultaneously suppressing the demolition pathway, is what makes tart cherries so effective for muscle preservation. Most interventions only work on one side. Tart cherries work on both. Tart cherries also contain natural melatonin, which promotes deeper sleep. Growth hormone, the primary driver of overnight muscle repair, is released in its largest pulse during the first phase of deep sleep. Better sleep means more growth hormone, which means more effective overnight muscle repair. Number 8, kiwi fruit. Kiwi is here for a reason that has nothing to do with antioxidants or anti-inflammatory compounds. Kiwi is here because it solves a problem that directly limits how much muscle your body can build from the food you eat: poor protein digestion. After 60, your stomach produces less acid. Your pancreas releases fewer digestive enzymes. Your gut lining absorbs less efficiently. The result is that a significant portion of the protein you eat is never fully broken down into the individual amino acids your muscles need. It passes through your system partially digested, and the amino acids it contains never reach your bloodstream. Kiwi fruit contains a unique enzyme called actinidin that dramatically improves protein digestion. Actinidin works across a wide range of conditions in the gut, from the acidic stomach to the more alkaline small intestine. It breaks down meat, dairy, and plant proteins into smaller peptides and free amino acids more efficiently than your declining digestive system can manage on its own. A study published in Advances in Food and Nutrition Research demonstrated that adding kiwi fruit to a protein meal significantly increased the rate and completeness of protein digestion. More amino acids were released from the food, more were absorbed into the bloodstream, and more were available for muscle protein synthesis. Kiwi is also one of the most vitamin C dense fruits available. 2 kiwis provide over 100% of the daily vitamin C requirement. Vitamin C is essential for collagen synthesis, and collagen makes up about 6% of your muscle mass and forms the tendons that connect muscles to bones. Without adequate vitamin C, your tendons weaken, your injury risk increases, and the structural framework that holds your muscle fibers together deteriorates. Eat 2 kiwis alongside your protein meals. The actinidin will boost your amino acid absorption, and the vitamin C will support the connective tissue infrastructure that your muscles depend on. There is a specific study that illustrates the tendon benefit beautifully. Researchers at the Australian Institute of Sport published findings in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showing that consuming vitamin C 60 minutes before exercise significantly increased the rate of collagen synthesis in human tendons. The increase was not modest. It roughly doubled the collagen production rate compared to exercise without vitamin C. For someone over 60 who is trying to build muscle through resistance exercise, this finding is enormously practical. Eating 2 kiwis an hour before your workout provides the vitamin C boost that primes your tendons for enhanced collagen production during and after the exercise. Stronger tendons mean you can safely increase the loads you lift over time, which is the fundamental stimulus for muscle growth. Kiwi's actinidin also has a special benefit for people who are increasing their intake of plant-based proteins. Plant proteins from beans, lentils, and grains are generally harder to digest than animal proteins because their molecular structures are more tightly folded, and they are often bound to fiber and anti-nutritional factors. Actinidin from kiwi has been shown to be particularly effective at unfolding and breaking down these plant protein structures, increasing the amino acid yield from plant-based meals. For anyone over 60 who is eating more plant-based meals to support heart health or manage cholesterol, eating kiwi alongside those meals can significantly compensate for the lower digestibility of plant proteins compared to animal proteins. Number 7, bananas. Everyone knows bananas are good for you. Almost nobody knows why they are specifically good for muscle. Bananas are one of the richest fruit sources of potassium, providing approximately 420 milligrams per medium fruit. Potassium is not just an electrolyte for preventing cramps. It is fundamentally involved in muscle contraction at the cellular level. Every time a muscle fiber contracts, it requires a precise exchange of sodium and potassium ions across the cell membrane. Sodium rushes in to trigger the contraction. Potassium rushes out to reset the cell for the next contraction. This exchange happens millions of times during a single workout, and it depletes potassium stores rapidly. When potassium is low, your muscles cannot contract with full force. They fatigue faster, they recover slower, and the reduced contraction quality means less mechanical stimulus for growth. You could be doing the same exercises you did at 40, but if your potassium is chronically low, your muscles are not receiving the full growth stimulus from those exercises. But here is the deeper mechanism. Potassium also helps regulate the acid-base balance in your blood. After 60, your body tends toward mild metabolic acidosis, a subtle shift toward acidity caused by declining kidney function and typical Western dietary patterns. This chronic mild acidity promotes muscle protein breakdown and inhibits muscle protein synthesis. It is like a slow acid bath dissolving your muscles from within. Potassium counteracts this acidity by acting as a buffering agent. Higher potassium intake shifts the acid-base balance back toward neutral, reducing the acid-driven muscle breakdown and creating a more favorable environment for muscle growth. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that higher potassium intake was significantly associated with greater lean muscle mass in older adults, even after adjusting for protein intake, physical activity, and other factors. Bananas also provide quick digesting carbohydrates that spike insulin, and insulin is a necessary co-signal for the muscle building pathway. Without insulin, even a strong leucine signal cannot fully activate the mechanistic target of rapamycin complex. A banana eaten with your post-exercise protein meal provides the insulin spike that helps unlock the muscle building response. One banana before or after exercise is the simplest muscle supporting habit you can develop. Let me explain the insulin co-signaling concept more clearly because it is one of the most misunderstood aspects of muscle building at any age. Many people over 60 are afraid of carbohydrates because they have been told that carbs spike blood sugar and cause insulin resistance. And for people eating processed carbohydrates all day with no physical activity, that concern has some validity. But around exercise, carbohydrates and the insulin response they trigger are actually essential for muscle growth. The mechanistic target of rapamycin pathway, the master switch for muscle protein synthesis, has 2 activation requirements. First, it needs leucine from dietary protein. Second, it needs insulin. Think of it like a lock with 2 keys. Both keys must be turned simultaneously to open the door. Leucine is one key, insulin is the other. If you eat protein without any carbohydrate, you get the leucine but only a modest insulin response. One key is turned, but the other is only half turned. The muscle building pathway activates partially. If you eat the same protein alongside a banana, the natural sugars in the banana trigger a stronger insulin response. Both keys are fully turned, the pathway opens completely, and more amino acids are pulled into the muscle cell for protein synthesis. This is why the post-exercise meal should always include both protein and a fast-digesting carbohydrate source. A banana is the perfect natural option because it provides the carbohydrates for insulin, the potassium for contraction and acid-base balance, and the vitamin B6 for amino acid metabolism, all in a single portable, inexpensive, ready-to-eat food. Number 6, avocado. Avocado surprises people on a muscle list. It is technically a fruit, and it contains a compound that no other common fruit provides, avocatin B. Avocatin B is a unique fatty acid that has been shown to improve insulin sensitivity in skeletal muscle. After 60, your muscle cells become progressively resistant to insulin. This insulin resistance does not just affect blood sugar, it directly impairs the muscle-building pathway. The mechanistic target of rapamycin complex, the master switch for muscle protein synthesis, requires an insulin signal to become fully activated. When your muscle cells are insulin resistant, this signal is weak. The pathway does not fully switch on, and the amino acids from your meal are not efficiently incorporated into new muscle tissue. Avocatin B works by improving the way your muscle cell mitochondria burn fat for fuel. When fat burning is efficient, less toxic lipid byproducts accumulate inside the cell. These toxic lipids, specifically ceramides and diacylglycerols, are the primary cause of muscle insulin resistance. By reducing their accumulation, avocatin B restores the insulin signaling that primes the muscle-building pathway. Avocado also provides approximately 3 grams of protein per fruit, including all essential amino acids. While this is modest compared to animal sources, the monounsaturated fat in avocado slows the digestion and absorption of amino acids from the entire meal, creating a sustained release that extends the window of muscle protein synthesis. Avocado is also the richest commonly consumed fruit source of potassium, providing 975 milligrams per fruit, more than twice the amount in a banana. It provides glutathione, the master antioxidant that protects the amino acid transporters on your muscle cell surface. And it provides magnesium, a cofactor for hundreds of enzymes, including many involved in protein synthesis. Half to 1 avocado daily, paired with a protein-rich meal, provides the insulin-sensitizing, anti-inflammatory, and nutrient delivery support that makes your protein meals dramatically more effective at building muscle. Let me elaborate on the glutathione connection because it is more directly relevant to muscle protein synthesis than most people realize. When you eat protein, the amino acids from that protein must physically enter your muscle cells before they can be assembled into new muscle tissue. They do not just float in through the cell wall, they are actively transported by proteins embedded in the muscle cell membrane called amino acid transporters. These transporters are vulnerable to oxidative damage. When free radicals attack the cell membrane, the transporter proteins lose their shape and become less efficient at pumping amino acids into the cell. Glutathione, which avocado provides more of than any other commonly consumed fruit, protects these transporter proteins by maintaining the structural integrity of the cell membrane they are embedded in. A study published in the American Journal of Physiology found that reduced glutathione levels in skeletal muscle were directly correlated with impaired leucine uptake. When glutathione was restored, leucine uptake improved, and the muscle protein synthesis response to protein feeding was partially rescued. This means that avocado does not just improve insulin sensitivity, it ensures that the amino acid delivery system on the surface of your muscle cells is working properly. You can eat all the protein in the world, but if the transporter proteins on your muscle cells are damaged, the amino acids cannot get inside where they are needed. Avocado also provides a significant amount of oleic acid, the monounsaturated fat that has anti-inflammatory effects through modulation of the toll-like receptor 4 pathway. This adds a third anti-inflammatory mechanism to the protocol, complementing the cyclooxygenase inhibition from tart cherries and the nuclear factor kappa B suppression from goji berries. Number 5, pomegranate. We have reached the top 5, and this is where the science gets truly remarkable. Pomegranate is here because it produces a compound in your gut that is the most potent natural activator of muscle cell cleanup ever discovered. When you eat pomegranate, the L-gitannins in the fruit are broken down by your gut bacteria into a molecule called urolithin A. This molecule triggers a process called mitophagy, the selective removal and recycling of damaged mitochondria inside your muscle cells. After 60, your muscle cells accumulate damaged mitochondria that are leaking toxic free radicals and producing energy inefficiently. These damaged mitochondria are not just useless, they are harmful. They poison the cell from within, reducing the energy available for muscle protein synthesis and damaging the signaling machinery that drives growth. Urolithin A tags these damaged mitochondria for destruction, breaks them down, and recycles their components so the cell can build fresh, efficient replacements. The result is a muscle cell with cleaner energy production, less oxidative damage, and restored sensitivity to growth signals. A clinical trial published in Nature Medicine demonstrated that urolithin A supplementation improved mitochondrial function and muscle endurance in older adults. The researchers described the improvement as comparable to the effects of regular endurance exercise, a compound from pomegranate producing exercise-like benefits in muscle mitochondria. A second study published in Nature Aging found that urolithin A also rejuvenated the satellite cells, the muscle stem cells that are essential for muscle repair and growth. The stem cells became more responsive, divided more readily, and maintained their ability to become functional muscle fibers rather than turning into fat or scar tissue. Pomegranate also contains punicic acid, which reduces the infiltration of fat into muscle tissue. Fat-laden muscle is weaker, more insulin-resistant, and less responsive to growth signals. By keeping intramuscular fat in check, punicic acid helps maintain the metabolic environment that supports growth. 1 cup of pomegranate juice or 1 cup of pomegranate arils daily provides the L-gitannins your gut bacteria need to produce urolithin A. Consistent daily consumption also cultivates the specific gut bacteria that perform this conversion, making the process more efficient over time. There is an important detail about the urolithin A production that is worth understanding. Not everyone's gut microbiome produces urolithin A with equal efficiency. The bacteria responsible for converting pomegranate L-agitannins into urolithin A are more abundant in people who eat a diverse, fiber-rich diet. If your diet has been low in fiber and high in processed foods, your urolithin A production capacity may be initially low. This is actually one of the reasons why the full 10-fruit protocol is more effective than any single fruit alone. The fiber from bananas, kiwis, papayas, and the other fruits on this list feeds the beneficial gut bacteria that produce urolithin A from pomegranate. By eating all 10 fruits, you are simultaneously providing the raw materials for urolithin A production and cultivating the bacterial workforce that performs the conversion. Over weeks of consistent consumption, the gut microbiome adapts, the urolithin A producing bacteria proliferate, and the muscle renewing effects of pomegranate become progressively stronger. Pomegranate also provides a substantial dose of punicalagins, the largest polyphenol molecules found in any fruit. Punicalagins are powerful antioxidants that reduce systemic oxidative stress, protecting muscle cell membranes and signaling proteins from the free radical damage that impairs the growth response. Number 4, papaya. Papaya is the most underrated muscle fruit on this list, and its secret weapon is a carotenoid called beta-cryptoxanthin. Beta-cryptoxanthin is a relatively obscure compound that has gained significant attention in muscle research over the past decade. Unlike most antioxidants that provide general protection, beta-cryptoxanthin has been shown to have a specific, direct relationship with muscle tissue that no other carotenoid matches. A study published in the British Journal of Nutrition found that higher blood levels of beta-cryptoxanthin were independently associated with greater muscle mass and muscle strength in older adults. The association was stronger than for any other individual carotenoid studied, including beta-carotene, lycopene, and lutein. Something about beta-cryptoxanthin specifically supports muscle tissue in a way that other antioxidants do not. The mechanism appears to involve beta-cryptoxanthin's activation of a nuclear receptor that regulates the expression of genes involved in mitochondrial function and oxidative stress defense in skeletal muscle. By activating this receptor, beta-cryptoxanthin upregulates the internal antioxidant defenses of the muscle cell, protecting the mitochondria and the growth signaling machinery from the oxidative damage that accumulates with age. But beta-cryptoxanthin also has a direct anti-catabolic effect. It inhibits the nuclear factor kappa B pathway in muscle tissue and reduces the expression of specific genes called atrogen 1 that encode the enzymes responsible for breaking down muscle protein. This means beta-cryptoxanthin does not just help build muscle, it actively prevents muscle from being torn down. Papaya is one of the richest fruit sources of beta-cryptoxanthin, providing far more per serving than oranges, tangerines, or any other commonly cited source. Papaya also contains papain, a powerful digestive enzyme similar to the actinidin in kiwi. Papain breaks down protein in the gut, improving amino acid absorption and delivery to the muscles. The combination of enhanced digestion from papain and enhanced muscle protection from beta-cryptoxanthin makes papaya a dual-action muscle fruit. 1 to 2 cups of fresh or frozen papaya daily provides a clinically meaningful dose of beta-cryptoxanthin alongside the digestive support of papain. Papaya also provides a significant amount of lycopene, the same red pigment found in tomatoes. In the context of muscle health, lycopene improves blood flow to the muscles by enhancing endothelial function and stimulating nitric oxide production. This vascular benefit complements the citrulline-mediated blood flow improvement from watermelon and the anthocyanin-mediated vasodilation from blueberries, giving you 3 independent mechanisms for improving the nutrient highway that delivers amino acids to your muscle cells. There is one more benefit of papaya that is specific to people over 60. Papaya contains a significant amount of vitamin C, approximately 90 milligrams per cup, which contributes to the total vitamin C pool needed for the collagen synthesis that maintains tendons, fascia, and the intramuscular connective tissue. Combined with the vitamin C from kiwi and oranges, the three fruits together provide a sustained supply of this essential collagen-building cofactor throughout the day. Papaya is also exceptionally rich in folate, which supports the methylation cycle that produces creatine. This complements the betaine from goji berries, which supports the same cycle through a different mechanism. Two fruits supporting creatine production through two biochemical entry points ensures that this critical energy molecule is available for the explosive muscle contractions that stimulate growth.